3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Movie Vault. I'm Ben.
I'm Zach.
I'm Anna.
And today we have a guest on. She introduced herself before she was supposed to, but that's okay. No, I'm just kidding about that, Anna. I know you'll feel bad, but I actually was just trying to make fun of you.
Thank you.
So.
It's okay.
All right, what movie are we doing?
Zach's like, let's get on with this. We're doing a little movie called The Lord of the Rings. What are those two dots?
A colon?
Colon.
There
okay.
you go.
There's a semicolon and a colon.
He's in college, folks.
You're a future nurse.
I don't.
What is this called? Is this a syringe, or is this like one of those doctor things?
One of the patients is like, what's that one movie with the little Hobbit and the
Hobbit.
The Hobbit. Yeah, I guess that's what I would say first. No, yeah, it's the Fellowship of the Ring, the first Lord of the Rings movie in a trilogy based on the book series Lord of the Rings by John Ronald Reuel Tolkien.
Wow, I got the full name.
Ronald Reuel, that's a name.
Yeah, we don't make they don't make names like they used to. Like our names are weak. Like,
oh yeah.
River, Onyx, like
what?
Emerald, those types of names. What?
Yeah.
We need to go back to the John Ronald Reuel days.
Why'd you name those names?
Yeah, I was like, I've never
Like
heard
they're just
those
random
names.
objects.
Zach.
Or
Okay.
Zach, Ben. I don't know. Those names are normal. They're not like particularly strong or weak.
No, they have biblical backing.
I mean, yeah, I guess
That's
you're
what the names originate from.
True, but so does John.
So does Anna.
But Ronald and Reuel.
All right, on from the names, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. But this is the first movie in a series of movies, and it was the first book in a series of books, and it's really the foundational text of the series. Lays a lot of the groundwork so that the other two books / movies can work. I wanted to go around and see what our histories are with this series, because this goes up there with the Chronicles of Narnia, Harry Potter, perhaps Game of Thrones, for being the most influential fantasy texts out there. What people who are really nerdy get into and just get really immersed in. I guess nowadays we have Marvel and Star Wars as well, but those are less...
National Geographic.
Yeah, I guess those are less of the medieval... National Geographic?
Yeah, wait.
What?
I have no experience with this movie, so I just watched it for the first time.
Wait, actually?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I've never read the books.
That's actually why Zach wanted to do this. Because he's never watched them. How about you?
I watched them a long time ago, when I was probably in middle school.
Wow.
And then after I cheated, I watched them first, but then I read the books, so I'm like a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're amazing.
Well,
the books have so much more.
I'll one-up you. I read the books first.
Oh, okay.
In 5th grade. They're the first real, challenging book probably I read.
It's a lot of work.
I want to say. It felt very, large, and it probably took me a whole summer to read the books, I think.
Facts.
And I thought it was, pretty boring in some parts, but, of course I wanted, it was exciting, too. I wanted to read it. I didn't watch the movies until later, so I'd read The Hobbit maybe a couple times, honestly, before I read The Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit is a little bit easier to read.
Yeah.
And a quicker story. Lord of the Rings definitely builds a much thicker layer of backstory for you to get through, and has a lot of there's a lot of stuff they cut out of the movies that are poems and just different background story elements. The Council of Elrond was super, super long in the books, I remember, and it's one scene in the movie. I mean, it's a lengthy part of the movie, but it's not nearly as long as it felt like it was in the book. So I guess we're all coming at it from Anna and I's is a pretty similar place, I think, but
yeah.
Zach is just completely new to this world, so don't even listen to his opinion. I don't know why he's here.
Yeah, get out of here.
Gladly.
All right, bye.
So the basic plot of this book is there's an ancient ring thought lost for centuries that has been found, and through a strange twist of fate has been given to a small hobbit named Frodo. When Gandalf discovers the ring is in fact the one ring of the Dark Lord Sauron,
There you
Frodo
go.
must make an epic quest to the Cracks of Doom in order to destroy it. So I think we gotta define a few things. Who's Frodo, Anna?
Frodo is, well, you just said it, a hobbit or a halfling, as they call him. He's a nephew of Bilbo. Is that
Yes,
right? Okay.
I believe so.
Yes, nephew of Bilbo Baggins, who was the first one to find the ring in The Hobbit. Yep. And he's the carrier of the ring for this movie. So, like, the main character, one of them.
And is he particularly strong or like?
He's so jacked.
Yeah.
Just kidding. He's very short. That's why they call him a halfling. That's what hobbits are. And basically, yeah, his like primary like heroic characteristic is like his heart and his just ability to not succumb to the power, like the dark power of the ring. So no, he's not like, he's strong in heart, but not in muscle.
Not in stature.
Yeah.
So Gandalf is a wizard. This is my memory of the lore is going to test me. He's in some sort of like council of wizards along with Saruman and some other people, but he's a powerful figure, and but he's also a man of the people. He really likes the hobbits. He takes to them. He likes entertaining them when he's around. He's very personable. He's not like, despite his amount of power that he has, he's very approachable. I would describe him as. And so, but even he doesn't know that this ring that Bilbo has is the ring of Sauron Sauron. It's gonna take me forever to get that right. It was probably because when I first read the books, I would just mispronounce things because I didn't hear them. I just read them.
Facts.
And so the Dark Lord Sauron. Can you tell us about Sauron, Zach?
Not really. He's like
Tell
this.
us what you know.
He's like this guy that looks like a Dark Knight. You know, he's like really big. He has this ring and he commands these armies to like destroy other places, right? And,
there you go.
And he made this. Didn't he make it? He made the ring. The ring. Was it the ring that can?
Power.
The ring of power.
Yeah, that's the ring of power.
One ring to rule them all.
Yeah, the ring to rule them all. So it controls all the other, or like has power over the other ones. And there were other people who got rings, lots of other rings, but that's like the ultimate one. And then he gets his hand chopped off, or his fingers chopped off in battle by this one prince after killing his dad, right? And then and then the ring falls, and it has inscriptions on it. And then the prince like could have destroyed it, but chooses not to. And actually, Saruman was there. Wasn't it him? Or no, it wasn't Saruman. It was who was
Isildur.
No, Isildur should have destroyed it, and it was
destroyed it.
Was who?
Elrond.
Oh yeah, was there? He was there too.
Yeah, Elrond was there. Yeah,
and he was trying to tell him to destroy it in the Mount Doom, and he doesn't because of greed and human sin, and he decides to go back and use the ring for other purposes. But then he gets ambushed because the ring itself has a mind of its own, and he gets ambushed and it falls into a river where it stays for a while. Then Gollum finds it, right? Mm-hmm. He's like digging through the streams.
Smeagol, technically.
Whatever. And Smeagol? That's his name?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot you were.
I thought it said Gollum.
Okay,
well,
no, we won't get into it.
Is that how
Smeagol is his hobbit name.
Okay.
Spoiler, he's a hobbit. Okay.
Well, that's a spoiler.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Gollum goes and takes it to this cave where he keeps it there for like 60 years, and his life is prolonged. And then after that, Bilbo Baggins finds it in the cave. Right? Yeah. Am I saying it correctly?
No, you're just. I think our question was about Sauron.
I'm trying to give a background to the whole ring thing.
Okay.
And then now Sauron is calling. The Eye of Sauron is calling for this ring back, and they're trying to connect with each other. And it's up to Frodo to destroy it, and he gets it from his uncle to destroy it before the connection comes to fruition.
Yeah. So in order to accomplish this, there is a fellowship created, the Council of Elrond. Of course, they can't just get there. Like, they have to be. They're chased by the soldiers, the ring wraiths of Sauron, who are the 9 men who fell initially when the rings were created for the race of men. I'm not sure what happened to the elves and the dwarves, but something happened to them because they also got rings. So basically, what we can see is that this is a very complex world that we're walking into. And that's one of the things that Tolkien basically became obsessed with this work. when he originally wrote The Hobbit, it was just a book, like it was just a children's book. There wasn't really like this plan. So once he was supposed to make a sequel for it, he really like started to, piece out what he wanted to do with this whole thing. Although the Silmarillion, I think, was more of his life work, where he really was like devoted to it. And that's really just like, from what I hear, it's more of like a history book, and less of like an actual story. There's probably several stories,
like 2 chapters,
and poetry. He also was just, at his heart, he was a linguist. So really all of this was so that he could make up his own language, which was Elvish, which is used as a language in this. And I think for a pretend language is pretty like intricate.
It's kind of reminds me of Klingon, like from Star Trek, where they just make their own thing.
It might be.
It's probably more advanced than Klingon, but yes, it's the concept. I get why you would compare the two. I think it's based a lot on. I actually don't know what it's based on. Maybe Old English, I think, because I believe that was his area of expertise. So something like that. Fact check me if you must. So we already sort of touched on Frodo, but I wanted to go through some of the other characters, because I think really this whole movie is just us being introduced to new characters, them being placed in perilous situations, how they get out of them, or whether they get out of them or not, and then it being introduced to more characters, and so on and so forth. So early on we meet Sam Wise Gamgee, who is another Hobbit. And he's
the best character in the movie.
Yeah, he is Frodo's best friend. Yes. Maybe a relative too. I could be wrong about that. Maybe just a friend.
He's like their gardener. He calls him Mr. Frodo. It's so cute.
Yeah, and he constantly is like in places that he is not supposed to be because he's curious.
Yeah, and super funny.
It's Sean Astin, right?
Yeah, Sean Astin.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Stranger Things.
I mean, sure, that too.
What else?
He's in a lot of things, isn't he?
Oh.
Huh? Okay.
He's probably in more things than the guy who plays Frodo, Elijah Wood. That guy, I feel like this was not great for his career, but we can get into that later. So Sam is the companion character, sort of the ride or die for Frodo.
Yep.
Throughout the movie. Then we have Aragorn, who is a ranger, as we're introduced to him at the Prancing Pony.
Yep.
And he is actually the heir to the throne of Gondor, which we don't know much about yet, but Gondor is an entire nation that is kind of compromises the race of humans, I believe. So also from there is Boromir, who is the son of the guy who is not the king of Gondor, but he's more of like the director of Gondor.
Yeah, they call him something.
There's a specific word. Yeah, maybe steward.
Yeah.
But we will see him more. He'll be in the next couple movies.
Yes, he's quite a character.
And Boromir and Aragorn sort of are at odds with each other in a sense, because Aragorn is in line to inherit the throne. Boromir is in line to inherit the stewardship. So they're kind of in line for the same thing. So that is a bit of a tense situation. Arwen and Aragorn are in love. Arwen is Elrond's daughter, who is an elf.
She's pretty cool. And
she wants to give up her immortality to get married. Okay, now we can have a conversation about this.
Okay.
If you were immortal, would you give up your immortality because you fell in love with someone?
Yes.
I would not like to be immortal, so sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah. There's a lot of like pain that comes with being immortal, which is kind of the point.
That was a pretty easy question.
Yeah, I guess that was not as interesting as I was anticipating.
It's okay. It was a good try.
An area of like, Elrond was pushing her not to do that.
Exactly. Like, if you had like a father that's like, hey, like you don't want to be an elf anymore.
He's looking out for her because he
it'd be difficult.
Yeah, he just. You want to make sure this guy's a good guy, because you're giving up like a lot compared to what other people give up when so it's like a kind of a big risk. But he's Aragorn, so also he's the heir to the throne of Gondor. He's not just some random guy.
That's true.
Which knows all that. And of course there's Merry and Pippin, who are sort of the supporting cast of hobbits.
They're so funny.
And they are also in some sense Frodo's ride or dies, although they get kind of cast into a different role by the end of the movie.
That's true. But like they're kind of like the comic relief, I feel like, in a lot of areas.
That's
and they're also the cause of a lot of trouble. I feel like everyone has a friend like Pippin who's like in the bar scene when he's like, "Oh yes, I know a Baggins."
They were so excited
So
about
bad.
like
We do
being
have
able
a
to
friend
get
like
a
that.
pint
Yeah.
because they
He's
obviously
like,
they're
it comes
smaller.
in pints. It's so,
So
funny. Yeah.
they would have different serving sizes. They were just like, I'm gonna go for the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like the world itself has so many ties to the human world. Like what are they called? The halflings all were celebrating Bilbo's birthday, and they had like a giant birthday cake and everything. It's just like it was obviously just kind of funny. They just threw in some like American things here and there, you know?
True. They also lived longer though because it was his 11th birthday.
Well,
He had the
that
ring,
was
though.
because of the ring.
Yeah, but I believe in the book 11th is like a big deal and if you're a hobbit.
Oh.
So you might have a slightly longer lifespan. But despite that, he probably would have lived a longer life because of the ring. He didn't age because of the ring though. That is something that they mentioned. We're also introduced to Saruman the White, who
Is white.
yeah, he has white hair. He's played by
There you go.
Christopher Lee,
White
who
hair.
also played Count Dooku.
Yep.
And he, I believe, passed away very soon after this film series. So it was very sad because this and the second Star Wars, Attack of the Clones, came out very close together. And I know it was very hard on the cast, you know, like doing this and him passing away so soon after. But he was originally thought by Gandalf to be somebody he'd go to for wisdom. Turns out he had just decided we're not going to be able to win. Might as well cast our lots with Sauron.
Basically.
So, good idea, bad idea?
Terrible idea. I mean,
If
you sided with darkness. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
Betrayed a best friend.
But you could see his line of thought. No, actually, you really couldn't. He's not really like a good anti-hero character.
But they have an epic like fight scene in Saruman's castle.
I don't know if I like that fight scene.
Okay, no, I was gonna bring it up because I don't know if I do either. It's like
weird.
It's like a version of like the Force, right?
Yes.
But like magic. But then can we talk about when like
He's spinning him on his head? Yes. I thought that was so
he's
weird.
spinning him in the middle and then he just throws him up. I was like, oh boy, how can I not laugh at that just a little bit?
I was so confused because it was a serious scene.
It was.
It was hard to go through it.
I'm not sure that scene happens like that in the book.
I don't remember, but yeah.
I saw this meme. It might have been Harry Potter, okay? Just don't be mad if it is, okay? But it's like
I'm so mad.
It's like it might have been. I think it was Gandalf. It might have been Dumbledore, okay? But it might be Dumbledore, okay? I think it is Dumbledore. Okay. But it's like where it's like Dumbledore said quietly, and then in the movie he's screaming that line. It shows the book. It like a zoom in of the book, and it says Dumbledore whispered blah blah blah, and then it shows a clip of the movie where he's yelling it.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of the book the adaptations of the books can sometimes be very skewed.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that was the number one moment in the film that was like, okay, they probably were going a little too far with some of these effects and didn't think about how this would age. Maybe it looked cool at the time, but
For sure, yeah.
It wasn't that great.
Yeah. Right, though.
No, I mean, to be honest, like the overall experience, I like the characters a lot. Like most of them. Are there other big ones that are in there or no?
We sort of touched on Elrond. Was anybody else?
No.
Well, like everyone else in the Fellowship.
Yeah. Have we touched on everyone?
No.
Legolas.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Gimli.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But I'm assuming we get to know those characters more in other movies, right?
You do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because like they're barely in. They get introduced halfway through the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't really invest myself in them. But like I enjoyed. It's like a lot of plot. I was just watching Avatar the other night too, and it's like you really have to just sit down and pay attention. Like otherwise, if you're not paying full attention, then you're gonna miss a lot. So it's kind of like that, which is great, but it's like an investment. But I also appreciate it. So
Yeah.
Let's see. Where else could we take this?
why would you say that you like this the most, Anna? Not that you like it the most, but
it's my favorite series.
Oh, it is?
Definitely.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, there's no.
Well, why then?
No doubt.
You can include spoilers, I guess. I don't really care.
No, I don't have to.
Well, you can.
Okay, thank you for your permission.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. I think, yeah, kind of like just the world that Tolkien creates, like, is just so vast and so, like, I think beautiful, like the scenery, like in the movie it brings it to life, but then even in the book, like I think Benton can attest, like he's just so descriptive. And I love all the characters and just like the variations of all the different creatures.
Well, explain why details make it better.
Details make everything better.
I mean, maybe. Sure. Well, I mean, it seems to me like the books themselves are very distinct from the movies just because they go into greater detail.
Sure.
And people say you're missing a lot when you watch the movies. I felt like I feel like when I watched the first one, I missed a lot. Like, I feel like there's a lot more that could be explored and a lot more that people talk about that I just either don't know about or don't care about. And I'm not as invested because I haven't read the books. So I feel like what does the added detail add to it?
Maybe Ben's help. I just,
Gravity. They add
exactly.
Yeah, they add like weight to the screen. They allow you to become more immersed in the world, and that's what actually makes you care more about the characters, I think.
And I feel like the journey definitely seems longer in the book because it is in a way. Like it's condensed in the movie because it has to be. But
let's think about why is this such a great story? It's because this is the hero's journey. That's all this is. It's literally a journey with a hero, and there's a finish. It's like when they say the hero's journey, this is exactly that. It doesn't stray off of like add any new things to it, but what it does is it makes the journey so long and so arduous and so involves so many people, and there's so much. It's not just a conflict between like one person and another person or like a small group of people. This is like the entire known world. And like all of Middle Earth is involved in this. The conflict has the highest stakes. It's literally like the evil will take over if this one singular hobbit doesn't accomplish this mission. And so I think all of that, and then in the context of the greater, Middle Earth history, if you know more about that, it just adds to like the gravity of the situation. And it's the hero's journey. That's all it is.
Good. I also thought it was cool. Sorry. I thought it was cool that Frodo was the one that was chosen just because of how weak he was. He was the only one that wouldn't be consumed. It would be inconsequential if he were consumed almost as compared to Gandalf being consumed. So Gandalf was like, no, I can't do it. Imagine what could happen if I was taken over by this ring. Like what powers would be unleashed. But I thought it was cool, like, they have to choose the weakest guy. And that gives a valid reason. It's not just, like, the typical story where, like, some underdog comes in. It's like, no, it has to be this way. It has to be this kind of loser that has nothing going on, really. That's just, like, doing the same thing every day. And he's tiny, and he's not considered a warrior, and, yeah. It's relatable.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's, like, skipping to the end of this particular movie. Obviously not coming back. I love the quote. Yes, I wrote it down. Wait, nope, I lost it. Okay, here we go. Well, at the very end, when he's like about to leave, and Frodo's about to take the journey by himself. He's gonna leave the Fellowship, just because it makes the most sense. And he's like, I wish the ring had never come to me. He's like, I wish I wasn't on this journey. But then like Gandalf comes into his mind, and he's like, we can't decide what's given to us, but he's like, all you have to decide is what to do with the time that's given to you. I really like that quote. It's very
that is a good quote.
And you chose to be on our podcast with your time that has been given to you.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I hope it's not
That makes me feel important.
Yeah, and you
You're
chose
welcome.
to listen to it or watch it.
Full circle.
Or both.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe that wasn't a good use.
What if they turn the audio off?
All right, well.
They're just watching us like our mouths move. I wonder what they're saying.
Yeah.
This is just a good background thing to have on in my living room when I have guests over.
That's true. It's like The Office for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No. This might be, maybe I'll get to this at the end, but we also won't get to it at the end. I want to just, like, the cast of this movie is interesting how they got to the cast, but it was also interesting to see, like, who wasn't in this movie.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
They offered,
no way,
like, tons of people, or tons of people auditioned or were offered the roles or were considered for the roles, and they didn't, end up getting them. And there's a lot of big names. For example, Jake Gyllenhaal unsuccessfully auditioned for Frodo. This is before he was...
That'd be weird.
Really? Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would have worked, so that's maybe why he was unsuccessful. Sean Connery was approached for the role of Gandalf the Grey. That would have been interesting. Nicolas Cage turned down the role of Aragorn. So how about that? Daniel Day-Lewis was offered the part for Aragorn.
Jeez.
But turned it down. Daniel Day-Lewis as Aragorn, that might have...
I would prefer that.
They have made this movie like the greatest movie ever made definitively. Unfortunately, he decided that it wasn't worth his time.
Him and Nick Cage were like, nah, both or nothing.
Russell Crowe also turned it down. And it's not like... So if Viggo Mortensen, he's a pretty good actor. Like, I don't think he was wrong for this role. He fits it pretty well. But, like, yeah, it's just tempting to wonder what Daniel Day-Lewis would have been like in that role.
Liam Neeson?
Liam
who?
Neeson was also... what was he considered for? Boromir.
Yeah.
And Bruce
I
Willis
could
wanted
see
to be
that.
Boromir.
Whoa.
Vin Diesel wanted to play somebody. Vin Diesel wanted to play Aragorn.
Oh, all right, Vinny.
I don't think Vin Diesel quite has the acting chops, unfortunately, to play Aragorn.
Jeez.
I can't see it.
Yeah. Let's see. Helena Bonham Carter was considered for Arwen. If you don't know who she is, she was in Fight Club. She's the, like, if you haven't
Totally
seen Fight Club, but
seen
she would
Fight
just
Club.
be a really weird fit because just thinking of how she is in that movie.
David Bowie expressed interest in Hugo or Elrond.
In
No,
Elrond.
in Elrond, sorry. I was
Yeah,
reading
David Bowie
Hugo's
on
the
there.
actor.
Imagine if they had the cast that was just like the most like obscure band of like really famous people. Like if you just took the most famous person who could have been every role. Like Bruce Willis wanted to be
Oh my goodness.
Boromir, which I don't know how that would have worked either. And you just have David Bowie as Elrond.
Beautiful.
Like, how would you take this movie seriously? I feel like this is actually how they cast movies nowadays, though. They're just like,
To
who
be
are the
ridiculous.
absolute most famous person I can put in this role, and I'll put them in, and we'll make the acting work. So I'm glad they picked it this way. Andy Serkis was perfect for Gollum. He sort of made a career out of doing this.
It's true.
Even though it says a lot of people told him he shouldn't do it because his face wouldn't be in, which I guess kind of ended up being prophetic because he does a lot of like his face not being in the movie type of acting, and I think it worked out for him in the end.
But it'd be cool to see like another universe where those came in.
Yeah, like if we could have interdimensional cable.
Oh, I was about to say that. I was leading into that. No, like where they see like Jerry's like a actor in another universe.
Yeah.
And Jerry's like holding a knife to the alien or something. They're like, Dad, you're an actor in this universe.
Or what if there's a universe where like Jerry plays every character in Lord of the Rings?
Oh man.
It's just like all Jerrys.
I do not want to be a part of that universe.
Have you seen Rick and Morty?
Like 2 episodes.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. That's
Was
good
it
enough.
not the best show you ever seen?
Oh, obviously that's why I'm still watching it.
Yeah, we reference it probably every single episode. So
Makes sense.
that was our.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
though.
no.
Right, we should have Rick and Morty up here.
I thought about it. We have a Rick
Okay.
Chia
we have
pet.
a Rick Chia- we
Wait,
do
did
have
you
a Rick
shout
Chia
out the
pet.
new background?
No.
Oh, yeah. We can take this this time to point out the new background here. If you're listening via audio, then you won't know.
Well, you can
But,
describe it for them.
Yeah, we have here a big flask. It's full of acid. And
It's a bottle.
it says right here, Good Time, which is a movie that we reviewed, episode 1. That's why we got this in particular. Up at the top of the acid flask is Robert Pattinson.
I think it's just pop.
Actually, glad you did.
No. What?
So, it looks like soda.
Oh, is it soda?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. I could have sworn it was acid.
Now look, you can see the label.
Well, it's a soda. It's full of acid, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought that was the container for the acid. You're right. It's not a flask, though. It's
That's
soda.
what I meant, yeah,
it's
a bottle.
soda Yeah, it does kind of look
Yep.
like a flask, but you're right. And then there's the carnival. I mean, you can sort of see more of the details in the background. Directed by the Safdie brothers. Hopefully, they're coming out with a new movie at some point. I hope so. Uncut Gems is
too.
good too.
Will they do another A24 if they do?
Or will they go bigger? Will they try to grow out?
Team up with Michael Bay,
Yeah, Michael Bay and the Safdie brothers.
the best director in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine the chaos.
My dream.
Because the Safdie brothers are the most chaotic directors
Are
working right now. Yeah. If
Okay.
you watch their movies, it's like chaos. Like from start to finish, chaos
Okay.
is happening. And you feel like... Some people hate it. Like, I remember... Did you not like...
I didn't like it because of the camera.
You
It
didn't
gave
like
me a headache.
Like, some people can't
The
watch
camera
their
work?
style of filming because...
Oh man,
it's-
the cut, like they would cut to different scenes and it would be so fast and so unorganized and it would hurt my head.
Uncut Gems was even worse because everyone was like talking over each other the entire movie. It was just like start to finish, people like interrupting each other and like yelling over each other. Yeah. But another thing that happened in those movies were a lot of car accidents,
Good.
houses burning.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
no.
great.
Things that
What
you
did they
need-
do?
What do you need for it? What do you need?
Insurance.
That is correct, Anna. Ding, 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 ding.
Woo,
And,
what do I win?
So, why do we bring up insurance?
nothing.
Well, because Henman
Nice
England
coffee.
Agency can save you money. That's right. They can save you money on what? Car, auto, and business. Wait.
And home.
Auto, home, and business insurance.
Yeah.
What did I say? Car, auto?
Yep.
That's two say the same thing.
Again, he's in college, folks.
Yeah. But they can save you money, and they also have a phone number. Would you?
614
486
73
00. 614-486-7300. And if you call and you sign up with them, you are still eligible for our cardboard cutout. I'm surprised nobody has like. I mean, technically, I think my brother could have asked because I think he did. When he got a car, he got it, but he never asked.
He didn't say Ben's
He
accent.
didn't. He didn't say Ben is accent, so it's still available.
Mhm.
And I couldn't really tie this into the Lord of the Rings though because there's not really any cars. I guess there's houses.
There are, yeah.
I'm sure
a lot
there's
of
an insurance
fire.
salesman
There's business.
in the Shire.
The
Yeah.
ring business.
Yeah.
There you go.
Valuables insurance. I'm not sure they sell that, but they could hook you up with someone who did probably.
Mhm.
For sure.
Anywho, it's Ben's
Well.
transition.
Very smooth.
No, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway for me probably was going to be, like, I'm ready to watch the next one. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But, like, I have to admit, I'm not there yet.
Do you think
All
this
right.
movie like worked as an individual movie?
No.
They didn't reach the end.
Yeah.
They're just looking at Mordor.
Really, this is just one big movie though. You have to think about it
No,
like
yeah.
that.
That's what I'm
But
thinking
that's
about
almost
it.
3 hours long, so.
Yeah.
Because I was introduced to characters for, like, a small amount of time that I know I'm going to spend more time with, so I can't really draw a conclusion yet.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, if you were watching this live, though, when it's coming out? Like, the anticipation for the next movie.
Maybe. I feel like after the second one, I
Really
would be
good
more
one.
hyped.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would bandwagon it. That's what I
Alright.
would do. But if I read the books, I would be so much more interested. It's just I haven't read the books. I was a
Sounds like
Diary of a
you're
Wimpy
gonna
Kid kind of guy.
Invest time
Yeah.
There you
into that. But how about the fight choreography? Well, how do we feel about the fight choreography?
I think it's great. The orcs don't know how to fight, so they just... That one scene at the very end, Aragorn, sorry. He just takes on, like, 30 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm
exactly.
like, no way. But, like,
It's like Stormtroopers.
he defeats, like, them
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that is one thing that it seems like every fantasy movie has. They have
Bad
to have
guys
fighting,
Just, yeah.
but they can't kill off all the lead characters.
Yeah.
So they put them up against like 30, like insurmountable odds. Like really, even the Mines of Moria scene, they were outmatched by far.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
And then all of a sudden, Merry and Pippin can just like kill people.
Oh,
like
come on.
all of them. They all could. How did they learn that fast?
Well, you saw in one of the scenes, Boromir's, like, teaching them how to fight.
Yeah.
So apparently, I mean, also though, like in the scenes, it doesn't show how much time is actually passing, like days. Like it seems like only a few days, but I think it's like multiple weeks.
In the books, like, it implies more
It's-
time.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So like they had time to train.
True.
Yeah, that's another part I like though is like the journey. Like they go through so many different things, like in like challenges, like how you said, like it connects like all of Middle Earth. Like they go to like the mines where the dwarves were, but then they all died. Yeah, that's a cool scene though. Wait,
Right.
that's where we're yep, where they're outnumbered. Is that
Yeah.
what you just were talking about?
Yeah.
That's where Gandalf.
Well, we also see where the elves live too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two different kinds.
And she's right. Gandalf does sacrifice himself so that they can
Yes.
get out of the mines.
Yes.
And I was kind of thinking that the movie was over at that point. It was not over. There was like 45 minutes
Yeah.
left after that. But they just like after that, it sort of goes down until it ramps back up at the end when the last fight when Boromir betrays them, but then also sacrifices himself so that Merry and Pippin aren't killed, even though they are captured.
Yeah.
So he sort of redeems himself in the end.
I mean, he was shot with 3 arrows.
I think that was one thing that was sort of it happened quickly in the movie and it was developed a little bit more in the book was just Boromir's
Like betrayal.
his betrayal. It felt like it had more weight because it was a little bit more fleshed out in the first book. But you still see it.
Yeah.
And it's still sad, but yet it seems like right, like you know that he just became consumed by the ring, and then he realizes that. And
it's not his fault. It's the ring's fault.
It's the ring's fault. You can't blame him. That's why everyone else somehow managed to not succumb and betray.
Well, like
him.
they said in the beginning, men are weak.
Yes.
The rest of them aren't men. Well,
Men are weak.
Aragorn is, but Aragorn's like special, you know.
Sure, he's the heir. He's Isildur's heir, so he had to
Yeah.
make up for his mistake. Because Frodo offers the ring to Aragorn, right? And he just says no. He's like everyone else. Galadriel kind of like wants the ring. Like she
Yeah.
gets a little.
And she gets so like she's like, I passed the test.
Yeah, she's happy.
Kind of weird.
Yes, it's odd.
Yeah.
So does it like set up the rest of the movie as well, or no? Or could it be better?
No, I think it sets up the rest of the movie as well.
I mean, yeah, the first one. It does good. I
Okay.
think so.
For those listening, Anna nodded her head. Up
Oh,
and down.
sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I mean, I don't know. Like, I doubt I'll get to be reading these books ever, which sucks. Maybe when I'm retired. I don't know.
There you go.
Which
Yeah.
will be like 93, 94.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll see.
As soon as he can't like move, that's when yours retire.
My rheumatoid arthritis is
Yeah.
too much. They have to amputate my leg.
Yeah.
I'll still just hobbit around.
Well, by that point,
But
you could just have a robot do all your work. You just have to be.
Oh man,
I
I hope
hope
I'm
not.
a robot.
You hope
Oh.
you are a robot?
I do.
Are we getting into like the philosophy of like if you could replace yourself with like robotic parts?
never.
The
I
ship
would
of
just
Theseus.
The ship of Theseus. It always comes back to the ship of Theseus. If you could replace all of your body parts with robotic parts. Wait, that wouldn't make sense.
Is it you?
At what point does it stop becoming you and does it start becoming the ship of Theseus?
I don't know. That's not the way I learned it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's not quite it.
No, but it's the thing about this. Okay, I just have one. It's not a complaint. It's just not my favorite. It's like, it's a lot of the commitment thing is not a problem. Like that's just a me thing, right?
Yep.
If I could read the books, I would. But I think for me, it's like there's a ton of plot, right? And I feel like it's just constantly being thrown at me. And it's good to have that background knowledge so then the fight scenes are more meaningful and stuff. But there's just so much plot. And this reminded me of Avatar and everything too. I'm just comparing it because I just watched it. But it's like, I'm okay with the commitment. That's not the problem. I just didn't love that it was just so much plot. And it felt like less characters to me. I don't know. Less character building arcs. And I get it. It's like the first of 3 parts of these character arcs. So I have a limited view, and that's what I see.
I think you have to kind of identify though which characters actually will have like a substantial.
I'm talking about the main characters.
Because
Yeah.
some characters will have a sort of an arc, but not too much of one. Whereas really the main arcs revolve around Frodo and Aragorn,
But like
and maybe I don't know.
Frodo had a small
And
arc.
like Gandalf, but
Yeah,
He had a small arc in this one, but like I'm not sure what the big takeaways were yet. For him.
Yeah, and you might not really be able to see some of the stuff until later.
Sure.
that's
So like,
I think definitely.
if I'm judging just on this movie, I didn't see any Frodo is like a hero, right? But like he doesn't do the big heroic acts yet. He's still learning. He's still growing. He's still trying to be not a leader. I don't know. He's still trying to kind of just be the guy. But he's not there.
He kind of doesn't do the right thing. Like he puts the ring on
sure.
at the bar, and that sort of attracts the ring wraiths because when he puts it on.
But I feel like all the characters haven't, and I know it's just part 1 of 3 again. But I feel like none of them have had. Okay, it's not a complaint. They just haven't had full character arcs. So
it's
that's
just
what I'm
nothing
explaining.
There was nothing you can point to in this movie that's like there was something that reached completion.
Yeah,
Like
but
it was all just building. Is that kind of what you're saying?
yeah. So then it's like I'm not going to rewatch just this movie. If I'm rewatching Lord of the Rings, I'm going to rewatch all 3. So it makes so then I can see full arcs and it's satisfying. Whereas like other series, I feel like you could pick one out and watch it over and over.
That's true.
I think
so-
you could pick out the 3rd one and just watch that.
Okay. Well, because you have the background knowledge
Yeah.
of it. Sure.
If you have the background knowledge, yeah, because it reaches. The
Okay,
end,
not
and you
like
need
just
the
one,
end.
but yeah.
Well, but the reason for that is because the Lord of the Rings was originally supposed to be a singular book,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
it just got split into 3 because it was too long. The publisher was like, "We're not."
How many
doing this."
pages are one of the books?
They're
I
all
don't know.
huge.
They're pretty long.
Yeah.
It depends on. It depends on the size book you have.
We're talking like hundreds or like 1,000
Probably like 1,000. I don't know.
per book.
I think it's 1,000.
Yeah, per book.
Wow.
About per book.
That's
yeah.
3,000 pages. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
exactly. So they're not gonna like publish that into one book. So yes, you're right. You cannot just take one of these. But this is also like it's unlike Star Wars in that Star Wars was still made as we made one movie, oh wait, we're gonna make 2 more. Like, it wasn't planned out, even though it still ended up kind of working out how the arcs went.
Not the recent ones. We can't.
Okay, well, I'm not talking about the recent ones, but the ways that they designed it was just different.
Sure.
So yeah, you can't just take one of these.
Had they planned for The Hobbit?
The Hobbit
Wait, what?
movies?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
At this point, not the movies.
I mean, probably not, but like anyone that wants to make money is like, okay, we're gonna
Yeah, I meant like
squeeze out of all
when they
Tolkien
made
stuff.
this trilogy, were they thinking a Hobbit series would come out since there was a book, right?
I'm sure they had it in mind.
Yeah, it wasn't probably like the first thing because it was such a long process to make this. They probably weren't like jumping up and down to be like, let's go do this again like really soon. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, do they leave any holes open for things to be explored in The Hobbit?
yeah,
yeah. And The
Okay.
Hobbit's prequel, so
Oh, it is? Okay.
yeah.
you didn't know that?
No, I've never seen The Hobbit.
The Hobbit's about Bilbo.
Oh, okay.
But
So that's
one of the
like
only
the
characters from Lord of the Rings, Legolas, is in The Hobbit.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Because they live a long time.
Yep.
Okay.
And so they do kind of touch on the Hobbit at the start of this book when they talk about like Gollum, the riddles in the dark.
That's one of the things I think is impressive is like, from what I remember from The Hobbit, the things that matched up in this movie are like on point. Like they've continued the same, like they didn't mess anything up.
Well, because the interesting thing to think about was that Tolkien, when he wrote The Hobbit, he had the ring in The Hobbit. The ring was in The Hobbit. And I'm not sure that he had come up with this entire concept yet. I don't know the order of like how he imagined things, but he may not have, but he still had like the foresight to like put all of this stuff that made it easy to like transition it into a bigger story. Because The Hobbit was really a smaller story. It didn't involve as much of Middle Earth, but it was still
Mainly
a journey.
the dwarves,
It was still a journey-based story. So, but knowing that also adds a lot more weight to the character of Bilbo. You know why he's so important and all of that, and mysterious kind of. So, we haven't really done much for Zach other than tell him that he has to read more stuff and.
Which I'm not going to read the books. I'll just have to take what I can from the movies, which is fine. It's just how it is. I missed out.
I have a source that says we're very off on our page count.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yes, the
What's
Fellowship
correct?
of the Ring is 479,
Oh.
the Two Towers is 415, and the Return of the King is 347.
Those are those double pages.
Well, that's 1,200 pages.
Together, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So it was like.
it's like that to that.
Yep.
That's still a lot.
It's like half as much as we had thought. We were
It's all
just
good. We were
estimating.
just,
We were estimating.
we were giving
Hey, maybe
Tolkien
if
the
it was
benefit
really,
of the
really
doubt.
tiny print, small pages. There's
Exactly.
1,000.
That's how I read it. They were
Yeah.
very small. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's not 1,000 is not terribly bad unless it is those tiny letters.
That's true.
So I'm still probably not. We'll see. Maybe I love it. Maybe I love
Maybe
it.
by
Fall
the
in love
end
with
of
it.
this,
Yeah.
The thing about it is that it's like any older book in that it didn't used to be like you had to get so hooked into a book like right away. It's like so much more like build up, and like the build up is like. And that's like even. I mean, there's a little bit of spikes because there's some action as we saw in the first movie, and then it like really builds up at the end. But the payoff is really good because of how much time you spend. Whereas now it's like it feels like they have to hook you right away. Like I've read books that are just like they feel like action movies, and it's like they get you like read them so fast. Like I'll read them so fast because I'm so engaged. But then I'll get to the end of the story and I'll realize, no, like the older books that I've read that are harder to read are still better than this book. So it's interesting to think about that.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about the movie in your notes that we didn't let you get to?
No. Mainly I was just like reacting as I watched it again because like it's been like a couple years since I actually like rewatched it. But I don't know. A lot of parts just like make me laugh too. Like I feel like it's a very serious world, but like it's funny too. And I don't know if those parts are in the book. I don't remember.
I think they play them up more in the movie.
I think they definitely
because they're probably more spaced out in the book when they're there and harder to like. You see the inflection of the voices. It's
For
easier
sure.
to like read.
Yeah. So I don't remember ever like laughing when I was reading the book, but maybe I did. It's been a while. Yeah, but I really enjoy most everything Gimli says with his accent. I don't know. He's just like, yeah. And there was the classic. Do you guys know the meme with Boromir? So I just
Yeah.
loved that. Like when that scene came up, I was like, oh yeah, that became a meme. The you don't just wait. Right? One does not simply walk into Mordor.
The interesting thing I thought, because I was like watching that scene happen, is I think in the meme he's like kind of going like this, but like he says the line and then he goes like this.
I think you're
So
right.
it's not completely lined up.
Yeah, but does a trick.
That was, if you had to really like be paying attention to notice that.
Which apparently Ben is. But yeah. Nope, that's pretty much it.
I didn't like Pippin and the other one.
Okay, well,
Sorry. I thought it was stupid.
there are 2 more movies
I
that
know.
they're involved in, so
Okay.
you'll like them by the end.
Yeah, I just
hopefully.
thought it. I don't know.
All right.
I thought it was a little bit more. I thought it was going to be more serious.
What?
My impression of Lord of the Rings before watching this is like, it's this super super serious, heavy, plot heavy world, and 2 of those things were correct, but it wasn't as serious as I thought.
Yeah.
So
I think that's like part of like the whole journey is like the ring is so like dark and
Sure.
like they're trying to avoid like getting like succumbing to its darkness, that like there needs to be all this light, and like that's why the hobbits were chosen, because like they literally have like second, third
No, I know.
breakfasts and
I thought
suppers. and
Frodo himself
snacks.
was enough light, because he himself is just a sweet character.
Yes,
So I
but
thought he was enough.
watch for Sam in the later movies, because
Okay.
Frodo, the ring takes its toll.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think that in the later movies you'll see the heaviness more.
Yeah.
Like as the journey goes on.
Yeah, it just felt like
not as much of the.
Felt like Smurfs Village at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that is. I mean, it kind of is. Cause I mean, the hobbits are like they're like goofy. Like,
They are. They like live separate from basically all the bad things of
I
the
mean,
world.
Gandalf says people like forget that hobbits exist.
Mhm.
Like that's how like. Which I was like, how does this world work? I mean, I guess it's just like you don't go to that
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of the world. Like that's it. You know.
Gandalf was awesome though. He was sweet.
Yeah, Gandalf's
Yeah.
cool.
He was definitely my
I
favorite.
can't imagine anyone else playing Gandalf too. Ian McKellen, a really good performance.
What about Patrick Stewart?
I don't.
They're pretty interchangeable in my
Really?
mind. Yeah.
I don't really even know who Patrick Stewart is.
What?
X-Men and
Yeah.
or-
Professor
yeah,
Xavier?
Okay, I know who it is.
All right.
Maybe I just can't envision it. I don't know.
I could see.
I
it.
could.
I
No.
could. I mean, I could see it. He could do it.
They're
but
pretty interchangeable for me.
Ian McKellen would be.
I don't know about that.
They're pretty much the same bald guy.
Is Ian McKellen
They're-
bald?
I mean, they're bald in different movies, but he has hair.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
I
sense.
don't agree with you.
That
So
they're
Ian
interchangeable.
McKellen-
Yes,
Why not?
because they're very different personas in their acting.
Yeah, but they're both old white bald guys.
All right. Well,
British probably too, right?
you
Yeah,
could
Brits.
lump them in with a ton of other actors then.
That's true.
All right.
Cast. Yeah, I think some of the shots and stuff were really good. There's a lot of like swooping shots and
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of technical terms. I think this was Mitch
music-
was telling me before. Mitch is in the audience here that
Shout
there was
out.
a lot of camera elements that were pretty groundbreaking in this, and I would believe that. I mean, they sunk a lot of money into this. I mean, knowing they were pretty much guaranteed to make a lot of money if they pulled it off.
And then flash forward
all.
to 2022, they made the most expensive TV series, right?
Yes.
Like ever made.
It's like $1 billion, right?
It's a ton of money.
I'm pretty sure Bezos like specifically put so much money in this because he was a big Tolkien fan as a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
So he like
They're not-
doesn't care whether it actually helps make him money. He's just like, I'm just gonna give this.
Here's $1
money.
billion.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do it if I had as much money as him
Yeah.
It's funny.
and liked it. I don't know if I'm
Right.
I'm hooked yet. We'll see.
I mean, I've not seen the Ring of Power. Have you seen the Ring of Power?
I've not yet. I need to.
Okay.
Wow. Hopefully by the end of in 2 weeks, can you watch it all? I know
Sure.
Ben probably can't. We'll see.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to.
We got some customers over here.
Man, if only they knew we were.
What do we
recording.
sell?
No, they're outside. I don't know what they're doing outside. But
Who
yeah.
knows? We're in the midst of a major college campus. Post them losing
All right.
probably
Had to bring that
one
up.
of one of the toughest losses in a while at Ohio State. I just said what it was.
That's all right.
I almost forgot about it.
This
We do.
hobbit
If
right
you
here.
couldn't tell where this hobbit, Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack. How could we not mention the soundtrack?
Yeah, I was
after
like
all this?
that. The Hobbit like theme isn't. I think. Does it have a name? I think it's just called like the Hobbit, or not
yeah,
the Hobbit
I don't know
theme.
whether it has a
Concerning
name.
hobbits.
No.
Is that what it's called?
The
Huh?
like do-do-do,
He shook his head yes?
do-do-do. All right.
Concerning hobbits.
Concerning Hobbits.
Yeah.
But that's like my favorite. That's the only thing I still remember how to play on the piano. Fun
Just
fact.
destroyed someone's ears.
Sorry, I apologize.
You didn't even warn them.
Yeah. That is
It's so good.
that is it is an excellent soundtrack, and it's because it utilizes so many like interesting like instruments and stuff, and it just
Piccolo?
yeah.
I don't know.
Nope.
I actually don't know, but it makes you believe that like this music would come
Alright.
from Middle Earth. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
So Middle Earth, what even is it? Is it just all those nations?
It's just
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
Tolkien's world. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look at a map at some point. I don't know how to explain.
There's a
it
map
to
at the beginning of the movie.
I do
Yeah.
like that like Bilbo's like writing his own book. It's like a fun tie-in, you know.
and it's The Hobbit. That's the book that he wrote. I
Yeah.
think is what we're supposed to believe.
I think so.
Yeah, here it is.
Loki probably he wouldn't name it The Hobbit, but maybe.
Yeah, Mordor is like on the right.
They're gonna make me buy something. Stop.
They're trying to make you buy.
No, that was the wrong button to click. That was also okay. Okay, I don't know whether we're gonna be able to pull that
That's
up or
alright.
not.
Look, there's an easy one.
Can I just zoom in? No, they're not gonna let me do
It's
that.
alright.
They're looking at a map,
can
by
see.
the way.
Linden? Is that one of them?
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Mordor? Rune? Gondor? Was it Rohan?
Yeah,
Rohan.
Gondor, Rohan. Rohan will come in. Mordor's over here. We probably have to zoom in to see where the Shire is.
Rovanian? Is that how you spell it? Or say it?
Where?
Above it?
Yeah, something like that. I think they're maybe from up here, but I could be completely
How do
wrong
you say
about
that one? Ariador?
I don't know. I'm not Arnor. I'm not really familiar with the ones over here as much.
Ah. Not a true fan?
I guess not.
That's alright.
Oh, this we might be able to open this more because this is on the wiki, of course. Let's see whether. No, it's not super high quality.
So that whole thing is Middle Earth.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's big. There's also something across the ocean. We'll get to that later.
I act like it's impressive, but someone just thought of it. It's like kind of, I don't know.
Like I could draw
That is
that.
impressive.
Like places and that would be like a
I could
world.
scale it however
It's
I
not.
want.
I like that.
It's not impressive. Well, I mean, I guess it is impressive to have like a map and you're like, well, these things go here. And
Yeah, but
all
that, like the
that.
Game of Thrones theme song is the exact same thing. So I can see the inspiration, you know? But that's books. Those books are later either way.
True.
So,
I'm sure they got some inspiration based on the one.
but like that looks just like a Game of Thrones theme song right there.
or map.
Yeah, like because it goes through the map
Yeah.
and it has all these different areas and it reminds me of that world building.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's what.
But in like obviously a TV show form. But to me, that's like, I don't know. There's a lot. You spend a lot more time with them, and I don't know.
That's more fleshed out. Do you
Yeah.
think that if they had done Lord of the Rings as a TV show, spent the budget that they spent the Ring of Power on,
No.
it would have been better? No.
No.
Not if they made it now, but if they made it back then and they had the same budget, maybe.
But like TV shows weren't like
No, but
the Game of
TV
Thrones
shows
stuff.
weren't like Game of Thrones until Game of Thrones came
Yeah.
out. So,
So if you're saying like Lord of the Rings
So you'd have to
was
make-
Game of Thrones instead of Game of Thrones?
but I'm saying instead
Like,
of
it's
Game
the
of
first?
Thrones, you have Lord of the Rings. You take the budget from the new Lord of the Rings series, so you have $1 billion that you're
No.
spending on it.
I still don't think
You're
so.
really fleshing out all the characters.
so you think it had to be movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
For me. Just personally.
It would have been a lot more time investment, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I would have preferred a TV show. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's just my take. I'm a TV show guy anyway.
Right.
I watch more than the movies. But
All right. With that, do you think it's time to close the vault?
do I? Yes, I do.
But fear not, listener. We still have 2 more of these to go, and the really dense stuff is in the next
It's
2.
coming.
Oh, great.
So
That's good. I'm glad that will happen though.
Yeah.
we'll talk more about theme. We'll talk more about character building.
Yep.
About character arcs.
And the 2 struggles that I have for the 2 towers.
Yep.
Yep.
And the return of the king.
Not
Who-
spoiler.
The
That's
return.
King returns.
That's
It's like the most
the
obvious
name of the
thing.
third one.
They literally
Okay.
foreshadowed it.
all right.
Like, who is the heir to the throne? Oh, I don't know.
I didn't know he was going to return. I thought they'd just leave it at that.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
He just
Yep.
He never got back there. Okay, Anna, would you like to close the vault?
This is a lot of pressure. I work at a bank, so like I do this every day.
Oh wow.
Um,
She's a natural.
I am. I don't. Okay. Okay. Ready?
I thought you said you. Okay.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Nope. I can't do it. don't know how to make the noise.
It's too heavy.
Okay, yep. It's actually... Never mind. Off tangent. Vaults are very heavy. Okay. Nope.
Just close the vault. What sound does the vault make?
It doesn't make any sound. It goes...
It doesn't?
That's it.